Piece by piece, we are learning more about the complicated life and death of Andreas Lubitz. Seen here in a half marathon 2 years ago, we now know he shouldn't have even been in the air on the day he crashed. The 27-year-old had an illness he kept from his bosses, which would have prevented him from flying. In a search of his apartment in Dusseldorf, investigators say there was no suicide note to be found or evidence of any political or religious motive. Today, this state prosecutor said documents with medical contents were confiscated, which point towards an existing illness and corresponding treatment by doctors. He added, the fact there were torn up sick notes, among other things that were found, which were recent and even from the day of the crime, support the assumption based on the preliminary examination that the deceased hid his illness from his employer and his professional colleagues. German media reports suggest that existing illness was depression and that Lubitz required ongoing assessment. It had even led to him being signed off from pilot training 6 years ago. In his hometown of Montabaur, Lubitz's mother and father haven't returned to their house since they and the world learnt so much about their son. Andreas Lubitz split his time between Dusseldorf and his parents' home here, returning at weekends to unwind with the family and friends who knew him best. On this quiet street, detectives are trying to unearth more of the details he kept secret, even from them. Elsewhere in the centre of this small town, there is of course shock, but also a sense of denial.
They call him a killer, and there is no evidence. It's just the media say it, you know?
You don't believe, I mean, they've heard flight data recorder and that kind of thing. You think it's still too early to come to any conclusion?
Indeed, yes. It's too early.
As the search goes on over the French Alps, there has been an extraordinary reaction from one grieving parent. The father of Robert Oliver Calvo, one of the 150 who perished, has expressed sympathy for the parents of the co-pilot.
I'm really sad for the father, the parents of that young pilot. I can't imagine what they're going through right now.
Investigators now know so much more about Andreas Lubitz, but can there ever be an explanation as to why someone would do something so unthinkable? Julian Drucker, 5 News.